Welcome, everyone, to the world's greatest news and reviews. Your boy, Captain Mal here.
And it's your boy, T-Crawler.
And I'm Weapon 2. I bring the lightning like Thor and send it crashing to Thanos like an epic in-game war.
Oh, shit.
I was like, where's he going?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's going to be hard to rhyme that. And thank you for joining us on the world's greatest podcast, episode 3. T-Crawler, Weapon 2. How the hell are you guys?
Oh, my God.
I'm doing all right, I think.
I just want to say your rap game's on point. I don't want to take away from how impressive that was.
I don't know, man. I'm just excited to be
man.
here. This is awesome.
No, that's quite good.
So,
Gonna make me blush.
so what are we doing now? Are we doing shout-outs?
He's going to shout out.
All right.
Shout out.
I got a shout-out.
You got a shout-out? Shout out
After
someone.
you. You go first,
So
T-Crawler.
we start with our shout-outs, and I guess we got a few shout-outs today. So I had two people I wanted to shout out. I have, and you know, sometimes there's going to be people that like contribute, like comment on the page and have like, we have back and forth conversations. So one is Mike Wirtz. He's one of the guys that's been pretty active on our Facebook, and he's just one of those contributors. And then another one I really wanted to shout out was Ryan Botcher.
Yeah.
Because, and you know, when Endgame came out, he went against what everybody else was saying how much they loved it, and he was saying that he didn't. And then he literally, like a boss, like Thanos. When we were going back and forth, it was like we were coming at him like the Avengers, and he was just standing there like deflecting everything like Thanos. So
Yeah,
that's how I pictured it.
He was holding his ground really well. He wasn't as positive about the movie. He liked the movie, but he had a lot more criticisms than we did. And as I saw him posting that on the page, I actually texted these guys in the group text. I'm like, I'm at work. I can't argue with him. Help.
and then I come in as like, hey, Captain Mal, on your left.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And so then they started arguing, and he held his ground. It was great. And
Yeah, he did.
we had a good conversation about it too afterwards. So yeah.
But yeah, those are the people that we really enjoy. They add something to the posts that are out there, and they just keep it active.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
Well, hey, I wanted to point out this wonderful new tapestry we have here. This is the new, the world's greatest tapestry. But I also, while I'm pointing this out, want to give a shout out to Hailstorm, my favorite real life superhero, who had provided the other background of the mighty Thor that we had used a time or two. So
Yeah, that was a good
hey,
one.
thanks, Tasha. All right, shout out.
just found out her secret identity.
Yeah,
Damn. All right. Any more shout outs?
Jeez,
that's it.
no secrets kept here, huh?
Okay. So do we want to talk about Game of Thrones a little bit since we haven't been able to?
Yeah, since he
Yeah, the
wasn't-
GOT.
So spoilers up until episode 8 or season 8, episode 4. The episode just after the Battle of Winterfell is the last one that aired at the time of this recording. So if you haven't watched that, you should probably fast forward a little bit. But yeah, what do you guys think of the season so far?
Well, the first two episodes just seemed like a whole bunch of just people upset about the situation that had created itself. Like, what are you doing here? Where did you come from? Who do you think you are? There was a whole lot of that to me. What did you guys think of the first two?
I like the first 2 episodes. I mean, obviously, it was a lot of setup for the battle that we knew was coming. Especially the second episode was particularly good because it was kind of everybody's last night, like seeing what everybody would do on their last night. I thought was really cool. Kind of a little bit of petty shit though, like with Jamie showing up and Danny still being all bitchy, and it's like, dude. It's like, come on, we're about to fight the dead. Like, Who cares? Who cares what anybody did at this point? Like, let's get over it. Let's build a bridge.
It's same with Sansa. Like, you know what? You chill out. Just like John was like, we need her army. Like,
Well, yeah, she's
we're about
really
to
concerned about what's going to happen after. It's like, bitch, you don't know if there's going to be an after.
Right. Like, let's worry about the dead, and let's get through that, and then we can worry about other stuff. Like,
But
so.
how about that battle in episode 3, though?
Oh, my
that was crazy.
That was man.
That hit
epic.
the fan.
I was literally watching that. I'm like, this is a fucking TV show.
The body count.
The production, man. The
Yeah.
production value. That was insane.
Crazy.
You really, and then the episode that just aired, all the stacks.
Yeah, how many people actually went.
Gosh, yeah, so that
John
was,
gave that speech like a baller,
Yeah,
too.
he did.
When he's like, they were the shields that guarded the realms of men.
You
I was
know
like, oh
what-
my God,
You know what
they
I thought?
were.
I thought when he just like, man, Ned would be so proud.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, man, that's like, yeah, that was pretty good. That was
You,
cool.
you know what now, do the white, this is what I don't understand. When winter comes, do we always have White Walkers, or is this just something that happened this one time?
Negative. I do not believe they come every winter.
Okay.
Because there's been many, like Ned Stark's been alive for many winters, and they've never come before.
There was a White Walker lesson learned, and that's when you get somebody like this, kill them. Don't sit there and hold on and stare at him, because we had the giant get killed right through the eye, and then we had the Night King get killed.
Yeah.
You know, so
Dark.
Yeah, don't do this.
Yeah. But I want to point out both Mormonts went out like a boss. Like
yeah,
little
yeah.
Lyanna,
Yeah, they did.
and freaking Jorah went out like a boss.
yeah.
Like he didn't even drop until like they all the dead drops, and then he finally fell. But yeah, that was awesome. That was a great battle. Like I watched that right after watching Endgame for the second time, and was preparing to record our last podcast or our video. We were going to review Endgame. And I was like, oh, Game of Thrones is on. I should watch it. I was like, but I'm so emotionally tapped out after watching Endgame. Like, there's no way I can get enthralled and into this or whatever. Yeah, I was wrong. Like, that was a good episode. Afterward, I was physically tired. Like, I almost was like, I can't record the video tonight, guys. I'm tired.
That weekend in general was just exhausting. And you hear that from everybody. It's like, man, he was emotionally exhausting.
How good is it to be a nerd?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Hey, can I point out one thing I've noticed?
Of course you can.
Are the dire wolves shrinking? I mean, it seemed like they used to be as big as horses, and now like they're almost. I mean, Ghost is like almost a regular wolf size.
Well, if you
now.
guys remember, though, Ghost was the runt of the litter. Like, he was about half the size of the other ones.
So they gave it to the
He was always smaller. He was always smaller than the other ones.
Okay, it seemed like I thought he was a little bit bigger than he shows right now.
I mean,
Maybe
also,
I'm
they're
wrong.
probably blowing their budget on the dragons and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Is that why they sent Wolf, sent Snow up or Ghost up north with the
Probably.
with the wild?
It's also why we haven't
whatever?
seen him in like a season and a half.
Yeah. Okay, I hear you.
They're a lot. The direwolves are a lot more prominent in the book.
So,
I'm that kind of
episode 4. That was something else. I mean, it started for me when we have dragons flying in tight formation. We're saying flying in, and Mayday, Mayday. We're hit. Dragon's going down. Dragon's going down. Oh, we're hit.
Am I the only one though that's just like that was a really impressive shot for them to hit that dragon?
It was great. Well,
Like I could buy the Night King doing it because magic and shit, but like I'm like really like they led the fucking dragon flying that far away
Those were
from him.
impressive weapons altogether.
I believe the Night King because of magic. Those
Sure,
horses,
'cause
really?
magic and
Just
shit.
say-
Yeah.
because of magic.
Well,
I
he's
got
not human.
I don't know when he got when he got shot. The first one went through. I was like, oh shit. And then the next one and the next one was like, okay. And I was like, I'm like, stop. It's like,
No,
there
it
too
was
many. It's
shocking
like,
and
oh my
it sucked.
God.
I'm just like,
And then through the throat, I was like, oh, he's dead.
okay. Also, so spoilers, obviously. So when Missandei, when she died, that was sad.
Yeah.
Who? Okay, am I the only one that's like, if I'm her and Cersei's like, what are your last words? I'm like, I'm just gonna turn around, grab that bitch, and jump.
Oh yeah, no, for real. No, some shit's gonna get crazy.
Well, and
For-
like you're
wait,
dead.
wait,
You're
wait,
dead.
wait.
She's like, say your last words. Turn around, grab that bitch, and just jump
Yeah.
off. Like take that cunt with me.
Were her hands tied in front of her though?
They were
It doesn't
tied.
matter, just
she
woo,
could lift
right
her
over
around,
her.
grab the bitch by the collar.
True.
At
And
least
Mountain
try.
and
He
Mountain
was too far
He
away.
was pretty far away.
Because like they were on the edge. All you got to do is trip her up a
Before
bit.
he
She's
stepped
coming with you.
forward to slice
Yes.
her head off. Yeah, he was, yeah.
Is the only reason that Tyrion, that's his name, right? Tyrion didn't get shot was because he's just such a small target, and they sized him up and they said no, we'll
said,
never
"No,
hit, we'll never hit him. We'll
when
never
he
hit
walked
him.
towards the gate and all those archers were like, I'm like, really that many? Does it take that many? I think they even pointed the big ass like the big
Oh, yeah.
cross. For
I
the
call
front.
bullshit. Cersei would have killed him.
I thought so
Yeah,
too.
That's-
if they did shoot him like that and he just got filled with arrows, that would have been impressive.
I thought after they cut what's her name?
Missandei.
I always want to call her Melisandre, but I
That's
know
the red
not her.
woman.
Yeah, I know. But after they killed her, I thought she was going to let those arrows loose and he was done. But
And can I say one more thing?
You can say
he
whatever
says
you
many
want,
things.
man. You
I'll
can say as
say
many
one
as you
more
want.
thing.
This is our fucking show.
So he comes up there and he starts
Too
trying
many
to talk
things.
to his sister.
Too many things.
And he goes, he wants to plead to her good side. Like, you're really a good person. I mean, everybody in your kingdom hates you and you hate all of them. But, your children, I mean, the children you used to have, I mean, you really loved them.
That's a really good insult compliment.
You're such a horrible person that, your new one, if it ever gets born, I mean, if it doesn't kill itself or be murdered, I mean, because you're such a horrible person, I mean, think of that.
You know what that,
What kind of argument
what that
is
reminded me of? Like somebody giving a speech and they have a writer for their speech and it's on the teleprompter, but they don't go with what the writer wrote. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like he's like, and just like you're
but-
saying, like you really.
All I could think about though was when he's like, "Do it for your child." Like if I'm Euron Greyjoy, I'm like, "How the fuck does he know you're pregnant?" I doubt you sent a raven to the hand of the freaking person
Right.
you want to murder. Don't you hate it? Why does he know you're pregnant?
Right.
That traveled pretty quick. Shenanigans. I'm making an official claim of shenanigans.
So
Maury
does,
Povich.
does anybody think that Tyrion's gotten dumber, or is this an act, or is this just
I don't
lazy
think,
writing?
I don't
What
know. I
is
don't think
this?
he's gotten dumber. I just think They're okay. So think of this from a writing standpoint, right? So the odds are so overwhelmingly in Daenerys' favor. She has the largest army by a mile. She has 3 dragons. She has all this kind of shit, right? When she was setting sail at the end of season 6, you're like, there's no way Cersei doesn't have a fucking shot. So they have to do shit to make Cersei seem like a viable threat, right? And so she's outsmarting her strategically. I saw a really good meme today that was like, you know, you really hate her, but she's playing the Game of Thrones better than anybody right now. Like, she is doing shit strategically to take apart her army in ways that, like, he didn't anticipate because he didn't think she was that smart. So I don't think he's getting dumber. The walking up there was fucking stupid, though. That was pretty dumb.
you know,
So do you think
also-
he's gonna pull one out before he, before the end of the series?
What's he gonna pull out?
Bro, I don't think he ever pulls out.
Oh, we were all thinking that. That's awesome. But I mean, he also drinks and knows things. He hasn't drank a lot in these episodes.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
knows
Except for
less.
that one night,
He's
the
not
night.
drinking enough. He doesn't know. He knows less.
He needs to drink more. He's up his alcohol content.
Man. So anything else, Game of Thrones?
I'm just excited to see where it's gonna. It's interesting that they're kind of pitting Jon against Dany, and they're kind of making
I
her
don't
going to
know
be the
about
villain.
that. Yeah.
Oh, one of them's going to die. Like
I think-
they're
I
not
think
going to live
she's
happily ever
gonna-
after.
She doesn't want to share. She's not going to share
No.
that throne. Yeah.
Well, see, this could all
He needs
be.
to watch
This
his
whole
back, though.
fucking thing could be avoided if they would just get married. Like, why would she get? Like, here's the thing. She doesn't want to share. She has to share. A king or a queen gets married. That's the way it works. Like, you have to get married. Like, you would. She's not just going to rule by herself.
She's very greedy now.
See, but
Yeah, she-
I understand Jon, though. He doesn't want to, fuck his
I'm
aunt.
starting to like her a little less because she's like rushing into things. She's not listening. I understand she's right there. She's about to go for like she's been working for so long to get that to sit on the Iron Throne. But it's like now you're starting to be stupid. Like you have people telling you this is not logical or this is not smart. Don't do it.
Well, okay, but talk about stupid. Why did Jon tell Sansa and Arya? What the fuck is that? I owe them the truth shit. Why? For what?
Family.
Yeah,
It's
nobody.
his family. It's his
No, you
keep
don't.
that oh, come on.
Keep
that
bullshit.
stuff
You keep
secret.
that secret because
That's-
goddamn well
there's
Sansa's
things-
gonna say some
exactly.
shit. This is exactly what's gonna happen.
Everybody doesn't have to know everything. All right.
And that's the thing. So she gave him the altar of how everything could be peaceful if he just kept his dumb mouth shut, and he had to say so because they're family. Because I owe you. No
I would
bullshit.
at least tell Arya.
No, you don't tell anybody.
I would. It's just me.
Yeah,
Well,
but
and that's why you would die.
Yeah, and you're not in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
okay?
you would lose the game.
Neither are you guys.
Because you would tell some shit, some dumb shit that you found out, and you would be wrong like always, like you were about the timing of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Whatever. I'm,
Or
glad,
Far
I'm,
From
I'm
Home.
glad I'm wrong about that.
so
That last trailer
is
was awesome.
Daenerys going to go the Mad King route and say burn them all, burn them all?
No, well, she's not gonna do that.
Oh, really?
She's gonna go light up that fucking castle though, but
I think she's at the point where she doesn't care about who's there right now.
she just wants to kill Cersei. But Cersei's baiting her. She did that on purpose.
I know she did.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm hoping that the writers are more clever than I am.
It's gonna get real, man. I'm just saying it's gonna get real.
You're saying Missandei could have grabbed that bitch and fucking took her with her.
Exactly. No, I know she should have. I would have tried to take which is the mountain with me, man. I would just grabbed onto that guy.
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked.
It wouldn't have worked. He would have just threw you off.
I don't know.
Get off.
Would have swatted you
I
like
would
a
try.
flea.
Would have
It's
tried.
a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely Cersei. She needed to die. Okay. Anything else? Game of Thrones? No? We're gonna do. We want to get into the top 10. Is that what we're doing?
We don't have anything else. Well, our polls. Are we going to talk about
Oh,
polls?
the polls. That's right.
Yeah, we said Game of Thrones. I was waiting to get to the next segue. Like, it was like
We're doing polls
doing a
now. It's a
segue to the
seg-
next
it's a-
thing.
All right, I'm going to take this opportunity to segue from the GOT to the polls. And take it away, T. Crawler.
Over to the stage.
Sexiest segue
What
ever.
polls are we talking about? Oh, never mind. Anyway, so all right. So on our Facebook page, we've had Venom, or one of our admins, Venom. He's been doing really well with posting polls and having people on the page vote. And a lot of people are there. It gets a lot of interaction. I know Captain Miles put some. I think we've all done some at some point. They're just pretty cool. They're just in there a lot. Some of them are more get more traffic than others. So I'm just going to run through a few. I have a list of everything that we've done. I think I went back to January, but I'm not going to go through all of them right now because I'm going to use every podcast, every episode. I'm going to put just talk about.
So you're just
going
gonna list off a couple and get our reaction to the winners.
I want everybody to know what we thought, like
Yeah.
which way we thought it would have went. And I know there's one particular one that Weapon 2 would like to.
That's right. When we get to it, we'll talk about it.
Okay, go.
All right, so some of the ones that we did.
Wait, did
were-
you write down like the percentages they won by?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm gonna have some comments about that.
Some of them are just like way out there. Like I'll give you an example, like Beast Boy versus Weapon or X-23. That was
That was
poll.
a weird matchup.
That was that. I don't think there was even a like there's no. I mean, because the percentage ended up being 5% Beast Boy and 95% for X-23.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just obvious. I mean, what can Beast Boy really do?
Turn into an elephant and stomp her into the ground.
She heals though.
Yeah, you can just keep doing that. An elephant never forgets. He'd be like, oh yeah, stomp her again.
He'd slice that elephant up. She'd make steaks.
He can't say elephant the whole time. Come on, it's like
She'd make elephant steaks.
Wait, he can turn into anything, right? So he turns into a fucking blue whale and just lays on her.
okay.
She'd butcher that elephant.
And then Vin and I, we talk about some of these, and we're like, I think some of the votes are just based on popularity.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't know the characters.
Right.
As we'll get to later.
Like, for instance, one of them was Submariner versus Aquaman,
Aquaman all the way.
right?
No.
Aquaman.
Submariner.
Drogo.
So the actual the result was
Namor
won 52%.
Imperious Rex.
52% to 48. So it was a close one. But it again, I think it was only close because we just recently
fever.
had our new the Aquaman and everything.
That Jason
totally-
Momoa on the brain.
Totally think Momoa would actually win. I just voted Momoa to be a dick.
DC fan.
All the people who
No,
had
I'm a
crushes.
Momoa fanboy.
All the people who had
Do you follow his
crushes
Instagram,
on
bro?
Jason Momoa.
He's great. Yeah, you know he's got 2 thumbs and a crush on Jason Momoa.
Captain Mal had a crush on Jason Momoa.
Dude, he's so pretty.
That's why.
That's not even gay. That's art.
I understand.
Not that there's anything wrong with
I have
either.
a crush on
There's nothing wrong with it.
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. That's mine. so-
Wow. Yeah, me too. Get off my Kool-Aid, motherfucker.
Hey,
Anyway,
you
next
got
poll.
new Kool-Aid. Okay, so whatever. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Then we do other things like we tried one where our original voting was so the Predator's hunting you, and who do you choose to protect you? And the first choices were the original Terminator versus the newer RoboCop, the newer one, not the original RoboCop from that movie, but the newer RoboCop. So Terminator won 77 to 23.
Wait, so you're talking about, it was the T-800, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, T-800.
So if you had the Predator chasing you, which one would you want to protect you? The Terminator or RoboCop?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger's fought him before. He's fought the Predator before.
Yeah, he won as a human.
He won as a regular
human being.
a commando. Wasn't that? Was that in Predator?
It was
Predator
called, the
number
movie
one?
was called Predator.
Yes. He was just like a commando, and he fought him as a human being with no powers or no robotic abilities or cyborg parts, and he beat him. So I'm going with Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator.
Nice.
My reasoning.
And I couldn't find the second one to that though, but I know we did a second part. So it was Terminator won this one, and then and I can't remember. I think we did man, I know we did a Predator. Who would you want chasing you? I think it was like who would you rather have
Want chasing me?
No, like who would you rather try to escape from? Was it T-1000? Was it the T-1000?
Yeah, it was T-1000 or the
Predator.
and this one pissed me off because everybody voted Predator and the stupid fucking argument was, "Oh, because you can't even I want the no, they wanted the T-1000 chasing him because they didn't want Predator chasing him because Predator could turn kind of invisible and you wouldn't see him coming." I'm like, "The T-1000 can turn into anybody. Anybody."
I think it's just scary.
And he would murder the shit out of you.
And doesn't he knife hand run? He just,
Yes.
like this? Yeah.
Better than Tom Cruise.
Fast,
He would
really
turn
fast.
into Tom Cruise to run faster.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But like he could be your wife and just fucking stab you. But like, oh yeah, the Predator's kind of invisible. First of all, he's not invisible. You can still see him like moving around. T-1000 could be anybody. Anybody.
True. So here's another one that was I thought it should have went the other way. So Human Torch versus Killer Frost.
Who won that one?
Human Torch won 69% to 31%. Now, if you know about Killer Frost, you would have voted Killer Frost. But if you just think fire versus ice, then I guess I could understand Human Torch. But Killer Frost, the more heat she absorbs, the colder the more power she has in her freezing. So if she goes up against Human Torch, she'll just absorb all that heat and actually, she'd be able to freeze the hell out of him.
That's a good argument you make there.
So
That was a solid argument. I don't remember who I voted for.
So a lot of things.
I think I voted Killer Frost.
Just knowing
I
the
probably
character.
voted Human Torch because I love
Marvel
Human
biased.
Torch.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit of that. I try not to. I try not to
not to
really
also.
think about it
Yeah.
a little, for the most part.
So Captain Mal posted one. This is like towards the beginning when we started doing this, I think. Mr. Freeze versus Two-Face.
That was actually a
so-
fan. That was actually a fan suggested one.
Okay, yeah, this was so.
That was
so
incredibly
one-sided.
one-sided.
It was like 95% Mr. Freeze.
And it wasn't.
5% Two-Face.
It wasn't a versus. It was supposed to be a who had the more empathetic backstory.
Is that what it's supposed
That's
to
what
be?
it was. And I wrote that down. I wrote that in the post.
yeah.
I'm guilty of that. A lot of times we don't read.
Yeah, it wasn't a versus.
We
Which
don't read what it's supposed to be.
yeah,
Like,
that's why because Two-Face has somewhat of a tragic one. But I knew Mr. Freeze was gonna win. But
people see verses, they're like, fight.
yeah,
It's a fight. Let's see here. We got Azrael Batman versus Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider. That was Azrael Batman 33%, Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider 62%.
That's about right.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, you have to know the characters. You have to know these characters. I mean, and you have the people that are fanboys for certain whatever, and then you have people that just go against everybody else's vote just to be that person.
Well, and there's certain things that just aren't as popular.
True.
Like the stupid Mechagodzilla versus the Dragonzord bullshit. Dragonzord totally
That was
wins.
recent.
That was
Very
totally bullshit.
recent.
It was total bullshit.
Very recent.
And how come Venom got to post like a badass picture of Mechagodzilla and a dumb one of Dragonzord? I almost fucking deleted it just to repost it with a better picture of the Dragonzord. I was like, why you gotta do that? And like a dumb one. I was like, what the fuck? No, because that's leading. That's like an attorney leading the witness. You can't fucking do that, Venom. Can't fucking do that.
Are you holding him in contempt?
I'm holding you in contempt.
Oh God.
I take umbrage. What does umbrage mean? I take umbrage.
Yes.
It doesn't sound positive.
Take it. Take umbrage.
So
I'm
then,
good at Google umbrage.
so then we suggested, hey, let's not just do Marvel, because Venom tries to do Marvel versus DC with a lot of the comic characters. So we said, hey, let's not just stick with Marvel and DC. Let's go other. There's Image, there's Valiant, there's Dark Horse. The other comic brands.
Yeah.
So.
Umbrage means offense, annoyance, or displeasure. I take umbrage.
Yes, Valiant has the third largest cohesive comic book universe next to Marvel and DC.
Okay, all right.
Huge Valiant fan.
So we had Invincible. So the first one was Invincible versus Pitt. Now, I don't know either one of these people.
Nor do I.
So Invincible won 56% to 44%.
Sounds right.
Can you tell us, do you know anything about them up into?
Not really, but I found a picture of Pitt smashing Invincible's head into mush, and so I said that's why I voted.
That's why I changed mine initially. Because I was like, Invincible. Psh, it's all in the name, bro. And I voted him, and then I saw that picture, and I was like, well.
Yeah. All right, so
mush.
let's
Looked like hamburger.
let me see. There's one more.
His eyeballs were popping
I
out.
mean, we have quite a bit up here. Okay, so we did a tournament style. This one was like, it was so crazy. So we started with, tournament was John Wick versus Jason Bourne.
Wick.
All right,
Well,
yeah.
But hang on, before we get into that tournament, before we did that tournament, I posted one like a couple months ago. It was John Vick versus
John Vick?
John Vick.
Michael Vick?
guess I want to get
John Vick.
John Wick
I'll get you, John Vick.
versus the Punisher. And that was way more one-sided for John Wick than I thought. So that led me to believe that everyone's just voting John Wick.
I mean, Punisher, I have that one. Punisher won 41% to 59 for John Wick. So,
Okay, so what was the results of the tournament?
so the tournament, we had John
Wick
Wick
won, right?
yeah, versus Jason Bourne, 80% to 20%. And then after that, we put the other one was Equalizer versus James Bond.
Equalizer won,
So
right?
Equalizer won 66% to 34%.
Was there
Now-
a period of time where we couldn't vote on these things? Because there was about two of them I couldn't vote on.
There was two of them that I think he set the voting for like 12 hours or something because they were done when I first saw them.
Yeah.
I think he must have done that on accident because he changed it to 3 days as opposed
that's
to a
right.
week.
I think I almost broke the screen on my phone trying to press that. I was like, what is going on here?
Fucking iPhone.
So
You know what?
So we put the winners together. So it's John Wick versus Equalizer, and then we have James Bond versus Jason Bourne. So John Wick beat Equalizer 94% to 6%. Like it was so one sided. And
I don't think it would be that one. Yeah, I think John Wick would win, but
what about you?
I
What are you
agree with
thinking?
John Wick. That's what I would have
All
voted.
right.
I just like watching the Equalizer kill people because he comes up with incredibly inventive ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You know
then
what? In movies, I like to watch the people that are the stars of the movies kill people.
Yeah, that,
I'm just gonna say
dude,
that.
that scene at the end of the first movie when
I mean,
he's
that's one of the
killing him in
reasons
the
I go to the
warehouse,
movies.
That was
Yes.
amazing. That was amazing.
Yes.
So then the losers went against each other, loser bracket. So you had James Bond versus Jason Bourne, and
I'm going to go Bourne. Bourne
yeah,
on that one.
Bourne ended
Yeah,
up
Bourne.
winning. The percentage is not even worth mentioning. So, and then another one that was really one-sided that I was like, okay, why are we posting this? And it was Roy Harper, so Arsenal
Yeah, this one was stupid.
versus Damian Wayne.
Yeah, no, Roy has no fucking shot against Damian Wayne. None.
So, I was like, okay.
That one, okay, so what was it? It was like 9% to like 91%, something like that. What was the result?
Roy Harper 7%.
I'm surprised he had
and
7%.
Damian Wayne was 93.
Yeah, I think like two people voted for him, and I almost like added them as a friend just to talk shit and be like, "You're wrong. Thanks for the like, though."
So yeah, that's just a few of the polls, and then we have the one that Weapon 2 has been waiting to talk about. That was Go ahead. You want to take
This
it away?
burns my brisket.
Does it burn?
I'm telling you, man.
Brisket's getting burnt.
This chops my chimichanga. I'm telling you.
That sounds bad.
Sounds so Deadpool.
Okay.
That was what Iron Man versus Exo Suit Man of War.
Yes, Exo Manowar, the flagship character of Valiant Comics.
Before I'll let you go continue. I just want to say this is obviously popularity. Like people know Iron Man,
Right.
I think honestly,
What was the result?
It was 77% Iron Man.
That's
and 23.
That's just no. But because real talk, I didn't know who that guy was.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't vote on that one because I didn't know.
No, I voted once. Hale yelled at me. Weapons who yelled at me, and I was like, okay, fucking this guy it is.
So here's the deal with Exo Manowar. Okay, picture Conan the Barbarian. Okay, let's start with that. Let's just start with the men with no armor. Okay,
Picturing Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You got Tony Stark, who's just a rich guy. He's smart, but he's just a rich guy. And then you have basically a badass barbarian, Arik of Dacia, a Visigoth warrior that fought like a barbarian against the Romans. He's a hero. He's a prince of his people. That's what we're talking about with him. Now, let's add the armor. You got Iron Man armor, which is cool. Iron Man armor is cool. I mean, Tony Stark's a genius, created all kinds of cool stuff. It's good armor. I'm not dissing Iron Man armor, but what's the name of the Exo Manowar? The Sharara or whatever. There's the name of his armor for Exo Manowar because it's a sentient being in itself. It's worshipped by these aliens as almost like a god. They almost sacrifice their people to it to try to see if they're worthy to wear it. And I think except for the first person of their species that had wore it in battle, every single person that's tried to put it on since has been killed by the armor. And then you have this badass barbarian come in who's been taken slave by these aliens, and he puts on the armor and he wears it, and he's a badass, and it's got all kinds of stuff. I go down the whole list of stuff that it has. It's basically better armor. It's super space age, high alien technology than Iron Man armor, even though Iron Man armor is awesome. And I'm a Marvel guy. That's all I'm saying about that.
I still think Iron Man wins.
Is it Corsair? I'm seeing Corsair. Man of War Corsair armor.
Bro, I love you 3000.
Aw.
I take
Anyway.
it back.
I
take it back.
That is a lot of good reasons.
So so that's a little bit on that happens on Facebook. We do these polls. Every few days, there's another one.
Can I comment on another poll that was bullshit?
Yeah.
The Megazord definitely beats Voltron. That was horseshit. It was fucking
No,
bullshit.
Voltron
It was
would
fucking
win.
bullshit.
No, it wasn't
It
bullshit.
was bullshit.
No,
Yes, it was.
I am absolutely right in this one because you always say
You're
I'm
never
wrong.
right.
I'm
You're never right.
That's why
You're
Voltron
always wrong.
won.
You're always wrong. No, it's because it's a bullshit popularity contest.
I mean, it's the original basically.
It's the original what?
It was before Power Rangers.
That was the original fucking mech thing ever? Really?
Before Power
There's
Rangers.
nothing. There's no
I'm
anime.
not talking about the anime. I'm talking about the Power Rangers.
Okay,
That
but
you
Super
used to- that you
Sentai,
used to-
Super
I'm not talking
Sentai,
about
which the
Super
show was
Sentai.
based off
I'm
of,
not talking
came out
about
before
Super Sentai.
Voltron.
Can we mute his mic, please?
Can you shut the fuck up? That's
I just want to encourage
Hey.
people to check out Valiant Comics
Whoa,
titles because
whoa.
they're awesome.
Slow your roll.
All right,
I love you.
Yeah, okay. What's some
where are we going to now?
Can't say it back?
People strudel?
Wow.
What's up? Are we
All right, let's do
moving
our
on?
top 10. Let's move to the top 10. I want to do the top 10.
All right, moving on.
Top
That
10.
was,
All right,
Now we're going
so
to
our
the
next thing
top-
that we talked about bringing up was a top 10 superhero movie. Now, what we have here is we've each compiled our own personal top 10 superhero movies. I think some of us have some honorable mentions that we want to put in. And then what I did was I went online and checked out like the 7 main top 10 internet lists and kind of compiled them all together so that we had
A reference.
a main reference to it. So about 7 lists I put all together.
So when we got the idea to do this, we didn't specify anything except for our personal top 10 superhero movies. So I'm just going to throw out what my considerations are, like what my train of thought was in making it real
Okay.
quick.
you know what? You guys can go back and forth because, again, I don't read too good. And I just did top 10 superheroes.
Jesus. Okay.
I
anyway-
won't have a 10 list. I'll have some. I'll have maybe a
Okay.
top 5,
So
but-
here's the deal. When I was considering this list, there's a lot to think
I'm
about.
glad you and I have our list. We can read.
There's a lot to think about. So I had to think about
minute,
overall portrayal of the character, how it worked as an adaptation from the comics to the movie, how true it is to the comic as an adaptation, and not necessarily how true it is, but also how much does this version work within the context of the movie? See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because those are different things.
He's like, you're so in depth with
No,
like,
and hang on, and some movies, like how much they emotionally resonate with me. Some movies have a much higher replayability. They may not hit me as hard, but I can watch them more. So like, there's a lot of factors that came into mind.
This is all about my feelings, bro.
The feels.
It was about my feelings.
The feels, yeah. And so it was also like what worked on a technical level, what was presented as a better story. There's a lot of things I thought about.
And it was kind of just basically for me how it fit in as the milestones that it made in kind of comic book movies
Right.
for reasons.
So we're
reasons.
we're each just gonna rattle off our honorable mentions because this was a hard list to compile, and then we'll go back and forth with our top 10. So Weapon 2, what are your honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions: Guardians of the Galaxy, Watchmen, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises. Those are my honorable mentions.
Okay. My honorable mentions are Blade, the original, Batman v Superman, The Watchmen, X-Men Days of Future Past, Captain America, Civil War, and Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I cut off a few. Okay, so Weapon 2. What is your number 10 superhero movie of all time?
Number 10 movie of all time, superhero movie, was Superman 1978. My reasons for this were, it's clear for me, it's one of the top 2 portrayals of Superman in cinema. It was the first real successful superhero movie in my lifetime. It was also the first time DC gave Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster creative credit since they had invented the character. They had never given them creative credit up until then on that movie, so that was important to me as a creator. So it was a big deal. It was really important to people at the time. A little older than everybody here, so that was my number 10.
One other great thing about that movie is that was the first time something made you believe a man can fly.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, my number 10 superhero movie of all time is Iron Man, the original, the first one. The reason that this movie is phenomenal, especially like if you go back and rewatch this, watching it through the eyes of hindsight is amazing. Because not only does it succeed as a superhero movie, especially like if it was just a standalone, it would work. You have a very charismatic actor doing a very comic accurate portrayal of this character. You see him he has a character arc within this singular movie of being just like the brash, arrogant, rich playboy guy to giving a shit and actually caring and wanting to become a superhero, realizing he has something more to do with his life. The entire time, the movie is fun. It's fun, has great action, and the thing that a lot of people forget now is that Iron Man was not a household name back then. Iron Man was like a B-level superhero. In fact, when Iron Man was first going into production, I was like, oh, that might be okay. I don't completely care, though. And you watch it, to this day, it is still a very enjoyable, very fun movie. And then given the fact that it spawned the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is insane, and I think deserves to be recognized as one of the greatest superhero movies ever.
I agree with you. I think that's good.
So, T. Crowler, are you just going to weigh in later?
I'm gonna weigh in later.
Okay. Okay. Number 9.
And do my homework.
This one was just about my feelings, okay?
The feels.
And this is because I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I picked the best X-Men movie just because. And that would be X-Men First Class.
I do not agree that that's the best X-Men movie.
That's me. That's me. Because I like the X-Men. I feel like it was the best X-Men movie. You probably would have thought Days of Future Past.
I want to let you know that First Class was on my honorable mentions, but you yelled at me and made me trim it up because I had like 15 honorable mentions. But I feel like there's an argument for either, yes.
Vic loves origins.
I'm trying. You know what? Maybe in my mind I was thinking Days of Future Past. I don't know.
Wolverine?
Anyways, that's why I picked it.
Wait, so which one are you picking then?
It's First Class. The prequel was Days of Future Past, the most prequel of them all. I'm having trouble.
No, First Class was the one in the 1960s. It was when Magneto and Xavier met each other. It was like all them getting together for something. Days of Future Past was the time travel one. Wolverine was time traveling.
No, I'm sticking with my list, though. I
Okay.
think this is good. I like the freshness of the prequel, and it didn't get all muddled up with the screwed up continuity. So I'm sticking with that.
No, I really, really like that movie, but it totally fucks up the continuity. It like bends the continuity right over for these movies. But anyway, that's a good pick. That's a good movie. I want to say Fassbender as Magneto is amazing. He
agree.
makes every one of those movies. He's a standout in every single one.
I mean, one of those guys that's gonna
the
be hard
casting in this
to
was
replace.
awesome.
Yes, they were. I just wish, yeah.
Magneto,
Anyway.
recasting Magneto is going to be a hard one to replace.
It is.
You know.
All right, so my number 9. Well, you were done, right? I don't know.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I mean, you just beat me up.
No, it's a good movie. I like it.
I
It's a good
actually
movie.
wish I would have put Iron Man there now. But that's okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Number 9 for me is Marvel's The Avengers. So Avengers 1 kind of plays off my first pick of Iron Man. This is what Phase 1 was building to. This is, again, once I heard what the plan was for them to build to the Avengers, I didn't even think it was possible. I didn't think it could be done. Nobody thought a superhero collaboration movie like this was something that could be done so well to this extent. I remember having 6 characters on the screen at once. Back then, we thought was going to be a lot, and nobody was going to be able to have enough screen time and all that. What I got was, quite frankly, just nothing but pure unadulterated joy. Like how happy that movie made me. That final battle in New York was insane. Seeing the characters interact with each other and just quit with each other and just argue with each other was amazing. But seeing them fight and work together on screen and use their powers in tandem, all that for the first time. Things were taken kind of for granted now because we get Avengers movies so often, but seeing it for the first time was a mind-blowing thing and a mind-blowing accomplishment that nobody thought could be done, and it was spectacular. And again, hindsight just got bigger and better from there. So that is a groundbreaking movie that, yeah, set the stage for what was to come.
I agree 100%.
All right, number 8.
For me, it was Deadpool. Deadpool's a groundbreaking movie in its own right. It takes superhero movie, R-rated, masterfully accomplished in a hilariously witty way, and it's perfect. For me, this is the perfect comedy. Nothing feels forced or contrived or cheesy. It is hilarious. Everything about it, and the fact that it's R-rated and such a successful superhero movie way was just awesome for me.
And talk about perfect casting.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
I think Ryan Reynolds was born. He was born on this earth to be Deadpool.
Yes, I concur. All right, what are we at? 8?
Yeah.
Number 8 for me, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Guardians, I'm a sucker for a good space opera. I love me the Fireflies, and this is something that has a very similar sense of humor and a very similar sense of heart. This movie is about coming together and finding a family and realizing that family isn't somebody you're related to, but somebody that, you know, you're willing to fight for and to die for. And it does so with probably the best soundtrack in any Marvel movie, any real movie, period. Yeah. Visually, it's amazing. You care about every single character. Like all of a sudden, one of your favorite characters is a tree and a raccoon. What the fuck? And this is the movie that Chris Pratt like brought it. Like all of a sudden, you realize he's one of the most charismatic actors like out there. Everything about this movie worked. It actually, like within the first few minutes of the movie, had me like tearing up. It came a lot stronger with the feels than you thought it would, and it's funny throughout. It's action packed throughout, and at the end, again, just great callback. You're tearing up and you're laughing at the same time. It's almost a perfect movie.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, 7.
7 for me was Wonder Woman. In general, it's one of the best superhero movies. It's a breakthrough to have a female superhero lead in the movie and to have such great success at the box office. I was super happy to see how well it did, and since it was for me, the first real successful female lead in superheroes, that's why I put it on the list right there.
I concur. Number 7 for me is Man of Steel.
Okay.
So this is kind of a controversial pick because I know Man of Steel, a lot of people go either way with it, but kind of like how Superman, the Christopher Reeve's original, was big for you.
That's my second. That's the
Right.
my other favorite Superman portrayal.
So to me, this is my definitive Superman. Henry Cavill, I think, embodies everything about the character that you want. What I loved about this movie was the character doesn't go from 0 to Superman real quick. it shows us what part of the problem with Superman as a character is he can be incredibly uninteresting if he's written poorly, because he's like, hey, this is just good is good and right is right, truth, justice, the American way, and that can be incredibly boring. What this movie did was it humanized the character. It showed him struggle to try to find his way in the world, to try and find his purpose. He doesn't become a superhero right away. He struggles with if he even like thinks it's necessary to be a hero and to save people, because he's owed the right to have a normal life just like everybody else. So thus, when he decides to be a hero and to put himself out there, it's that much more impactful. It feels earned. So when he finally suits up, when he gets the suit for the first time and has the first flight to that amazing Hans Zimmer score, like literally you want to jump out of your seat and cheer. And then like the battle with Zod at the end, a lot of people had issues with how all the destruction was. And I'm like, dude, this is what would happen if two godlike beings threw down. Yeah, buildings are dropping. That's what's happening. And yeah, Superman, they're like, why didn't he get him to somewhere, a remote location? I was like, dude, he just learned how to fly like 15 minutes ago of screen time. He doesn't know how to use his powers yet. And like,
you got to remember, Zod is he was already trained as a soldier or warrior.
And so this is the other part of what makes this movie amazing is Zod was born to be a soldier, born to be a protector. So when he says, my entire life, I have known nothing but the protection of my race. And he's like, in a single moment, you took that from me. Zod is a hero of his story and a very relatable character to where you could be like, dude, he's not wrong. He's just extreme. He's like Magneto. He just believes what he is doing is right and he will do it at any cost, which again, if you have a compelling villain, he's more interesting in this movie than Superman. If you have a compelling villain, it makes the movie. This is a fantastic movie, a great standalone. The first 20 minutes all taking place on Krypton, fucking sign me up. It was great. I could talk about this movie forever, but anyway, I really loved it.
Well, I mean, and this argument about why don't you just get him out to a remote location, that's like saying you're in a bar fight. Hey, why don't you fight your way out to the parking lot where you didn't break stuff in there? I was fighting, okay? The other guy was fighting me too. And it just happened where it happened.
Also someone who's never had to be in a fight with anybody because is his physical equal. Yeah. Like he's your physical equal and he knows how to fight better than you. Like, what the fuck? So anyway, I love that movie.
I have a number 7.
You have a number 6?
We're skipping, 7, right?
We're skipping 10?
We're on 7.
Well, I didn't want to do all the back. I want to jump in here. I'll give you the other ones later. Right?
Okay, go for 7.
So my 7 is Spider-Man 2. And for me, being a fan of Spider-Man, a lot of it was the portrayal of the Dr. Octopus character, the villain. I love the fight scene on the subway. And for the time where the movie came out, I mean, that was the Spider-Man we were given. So I liked it. Was better than 1 for me. And there are things about it that I could pick apart of whatever. But the thing that really stuck with me is just the Dr. Octopus, and I think just the storyline, and he has one of those stories where he's trying to invent something, whatever goes wrong, and of course he kills the love of his life. And then things go horribly wrong from there on, So being able to see on screen Dr. Octopus was just awesome for me. And for that time, the way it looked, it was awesome. So it didn't look extra cheesy, I didn't think. I mean, I'm trying to keep myself like back then when I saw it for the first time. I'm not trying to like compared to now. It's like
I loved Spider-Man 2 when it first came out.
Yeah. That was my number 7.
Okay, cool. Weapon 2, your number 6.
Number 6 for me was Avenger Infinity War. For all the same reasons you said about Avengers, it was the culmination at that time of 18 movies with the huge cinematic event of that time, Infinity War, and it was quite an accomplishment because up until that point, it was the culmination of this huge story arc that had never been done before over that many years, and so that's why I put that on the list there.
Nice. Couldn't agree with you more. My number 6 is Logan. I think Logan is one of the few movies that are a comic book movie that you could show to somebody who's not into comic books and they could just appreciate it as a good film. Logan works for a lot of reasons, one of which being the success of Deadpool allowed this movie to be rated R, which I'm not saying every movie needs to be rated R, but when certain characters inherently lend themselves to that better, such as Wolverine and Deadpool and Punisher, things like that, they should be violent. Not for sake of being gratuitous, but that is this character. So the violence, the cursing, all that worked, but when you get the story of X-23 in there, and Logan's reluctance to help her, but his need to. It's essentially a father-daughter story that is done really well. But the meta-ness of this is on point because it is Hugh Jackman's last portrayal as the character, and it's Patrick Stewart's final portrayal of the character. And spoilers, both of them die in the movie in incredibly heartbreaking ways, but ways that seemed, for Wolverine at least, very fitting for him as a character. This movie is incredibly powerful to me, and it's one that I absolutely love. I just can't watch it a lot because I have to be in a certain state of mind and ready, like emotionally prepared to watch this movie. But it's essentially Unforgiven with Wolverine, and I love it. Number 6, T-Crawler?
Yeah, so my number 6 is Civil War. And when this movie came out, it's so funny when these movies are out and we, even back to the Avengers that you were talking about, Captain Marvel, it was, having to portray, like having all these characters on the screen at once. Are they going to have their time to shine? Is it going to be too much? I think a lot of that came from when we talk about these movies from Spider-Man 3, because they had, at that time, a lot of people were like, it's too much. You had Spider-Man, then you had Sandman, then you had Venom and Goblin, and regardless of how poorly Venom was done, but it's just like a lot of people were like, I think it was just too much. So all the movies that came out after that, a lot of people were like, okay, is it going to be too many characters in one? But Civil War was awesome for me because it was just, again, it was, you get all these characters together and reading the comic, and yes, it's different because it's a cinematic universe, and people get hung up on the fact that, well, this didn't happen and that didn't happen. I'm like, okay, there's some things, I try to explain this to a lot of people, you can't, they don't transfer well from the comic to the movie screen, and that was what, I just love this movie, the way they had the story arc and how it went down. It was just, and just to see those two groups merge and come together and run at each other and start fighting on the tarmac, and then of course, my favorite part is when they were finally, because there was a thing where they almost didn't have Spider-Man in this one. So, and from what I would remember reading, Black Panther was added to this because, and given such a bigger role because they didn't have Spider-Man. And Spider-Man was a major role in the Civil War story. So to see him in there and just that little part was kind of cool. And his interaction with the rest of the Avengers, and just having them fight back and forth, it's kind of cool to see all that action go down. And they upped it from the Avengers, and then, we did have our characters, multiple characters in Guardians, but it's like this one just had like a lot more action, a lot more people with different powers, and you get to see Scarlet Witch do more stuff and all this stuff. So that was one of my, that was my number 6. So.
Nice. What about you, number 5?
Okay, number 5 for me was The Dark Knight. For me, it's been one of the best superhero movies. Had a great plot line, a great story. It was surely probably the best Batman movie. It was by far the best portrayal of the Joker for me in anything. So, I mean, that's why I picked that one, put it on the list here.
Nice. What are we at, 5?
Yep.
5 for me is Thor Ragnarok. So this one, my next 3 were really hard. I was kind of switching back and forth what positions. And a reason I put this one over Logan is back to replayability. I have watched this probably 2,000 times. Like, it is utterly and unbelievably entertaining. It totally transforms the character of Thor, as we've talked about before, from just being this weird Shakespearean guy to like an amazingly charismatic, funny character. Visually, the movie's insane. And Thor goes through an insane amount of character development and it literally loses everything and still fights. Mm-hmm. Getting the new portrayal of the Hulk was great. We get Valkyrie, who I love to death. Korg and Meek are hilarious. This movie is just watchable. It's probably the most watchable movie on this list. And like legitimate watching that bridge sequence, that is probably one of the best scenes of like any movie, period.
Yeah.
All right, T. Crowley.
Yeah. I just let me say something with yours. The Ragnarok. I'm kind of upset that it didn't make my list, but whatever. But replayability.
I'm upset that you didn't read the thing right to know to make a list.
Why do you have to bring that up? Like I thought we were whatever. Anyway, so but like you said, because I was recently showing my daughter and my son because they're trying to. I'm trying to give them just kind of cliff notes on what has happened so far because they want to see Endgame, but they want to be able to get more out of it than just being those people that have only seen Infinity War and then Endgame. So as
your kids have only seen Infinity War?
No, they've seen like bits and pieces. They haven't kept up with every movie in the Marvel, like the 11 years worth of movies that were out.
Thought you were a good parent.
What do you know about parenting?
I know that I would show them every movie in the MCU. You need to get on that, bro. I'm just kidding. You're a great dad. Go.
Anyway, yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me that.
Coming from the guy who's never had kids.
I would just make them watch the MCU movies.
So anyway, I was going through Thor Ragnarok with her, and like I was stopping at certain spots, and I was trying to explain to her and get her caught up kind of quickly because with Infinity War, just hearing the distress call in the beginning, it's like, okay, so I was going to show her the end of Ragnarok, but I'm like, oh wait, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to show you.
To explain all of Ragnarok.
Yeah. So and then I ended up explaining more, but it was just funny, just in the spots that I stopped and watched. Like I wanted to watch the whole movie again. So replayability is awesome. With
And
that
I imagine when you're trying to explain it to somebody, you're like, fuck, a lot happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
But it was kind of cool being able to explain all that stuff and like, oh, and this happened, and you got to understand this, and this. But yeah, that was a great movie. So my number, what are we on? Five. My number 5 is Deadpool 2. I liked Deadpool 2 for me was cool, and I loved the first one, but then the second one for me, it brought a little bit more because you have the X-Force was in there. You have and the big reveal of the Juggernaut, the actual the Juggernaut that looks like a Juggernaut, not from the X-Men movie. That anyway, I'm not going to go there, but yeah. So just to see that, and then the little kid that.
Am I the only one that can hear Harvey breathing? In
No,
the
I could
microphone
too.
over
I just
there?
didn't want to draw attention to it.
Sorry, I had a little close.
I thought he was doing curls or something.
I don't know why I can't hear that.
Anyway,
Fucking mouth breather.
Deadpool 2 was my number 5.
Cool. It's interesting. I think Deadpool is a way better movie than Deadpool 2. I think Deadpool 2 is nowhere near as good as Deadpool 1.
Well, this is my list.
No, I know. I'm just.
I agree that I like Deadpool more because it's the first one. I do agree with you though that they added some cool elements that were kind of cool.
Juggernaut CGI looked terrible.
I
though.
agree.
It looked better than the other Juggernaut that was.
I'm telling you what, the X-Force part though cracked
Design
me up. That
looked
was
better.
Anyway,
hilarious.
this is what I like. This
Right.
is my list.
I hear you.
No, I know, and we're allowed to give input. Damn it, that's the whole point of this.
So don't bash each other's list. Like you have your list of what you like.
Can you
and
make
that's
a
it.
list first, and then we could talk
I
about
did
it?
make a list,
Okay.
smartass.
Cool.
It's right here in front of me.
He bashed my X-Men thing.
We're not
I didn't start-
bashing.
I
We're just
didn't start
talking.
crying
We're giving
about
input.
it.
This is
Are you gonna
classic.
walk off
This
camera
is
again? You're
classic.
gonna walk off camera? You're gonna leave, bro? You're gonna
stay
leave?
right
Do you want me to talk about Bumblebee so you can walk off the camera? We're giving to each other. We're talking about movies that we never
like I
talked
was
about
saying,
before.
I'm not going to walk off
He's
camera.
gonna walk off camera.
But this is classic Captain Mal. He likes to bash and just...
I'm not bashing. I'm
every
giving
time
my
if you like
opinion.
something that he doesn't agree with, you're wrong.
No,
And
you just
can't
happen to
sit
be
there and
wrong
do
a
that.
lot,
That's
and
not
you get
right.
so frustrated you walk off camera
I'm not
multiple
walking off camera
times.
right now.
You're gonna scoot off camera.
here.
You're gonna
No,
scooch.
I'm not scooting
You're gonna
anywhere.
scooch. I'm not bashing your list. I thought it was
This is
interesting
why
that
I
you
like
have Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 is number 5. Thank you.
Okay.
It's interesting.
I have to
Number
edit the
4.
fuck out of this thing.
No, don't edit
There's
anything.
no editing.
God damn it,
there's no
dude.
edit.
Haven't we?
no editing.
Didn't we
Oh, we're
say?
just gonna leave all that shit in.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
all
are.
So
right.
it makes it fun.
Yes.
God damn
I
it.
love hurting his feelings.
If you watched our stuff, you would know.
Yeah.
And hold your breath from now on.
All that's staying in there.
Number
Let's go.
4.
Continue.
Can you
For
edit
me?
the breathing out?
I can edit you out.
Number 4 for me, Thor Ragnarok.
Nice.
And the only thing that I have to add to this was that you commented on his character development, where he went from kind of this serious stoic type guy to more of a comedic type of value, which I think helped him so he could interact well with the Guardians when he met up with them out in space. And I think that he's probably going to be in. We've already done spoilers for Endgame, so I can say stuff about Endgame.
In-game spoilers.
And anyway, I'm just going to say that he's probably going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, I mean, that'll be good to see.
Because this was great. They allowed him to be to bridge the gap for
Right,
them.
right.
And also one thing I think we'd both agree on that I forgot to mention, Loki was great in this too. Like their relationship
Yes.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to comment on your list apparently.
No, you
I
can
shouldn't
comment.
I
You
shouldn't have
can't
said
bash
it.
it.
I can't say
I
You
that.
can comment. You can't bash.
I'm not
Jeez.
bashing. I can't just
Oh,
I
my
can't speak my
goodness.
mind apparently.
Let's stop.
Hey,
Before
Captain
we
Mal,
get
what was your
edited
number
out.
4? What was your number 4?
My number 4 is Wonder Woman. So a lot of the same reasons that you mentioned earlier when you talked about it. Wonder Woman's one of my favorite characters. And I think this movie is done so well because her portrayal is 1,000% on point. She's strong, she's powerful, she's beautiful. Quite often she's the smartest person in the room, but she also has this really adorable like naivety to her. Like she believes just defeating one bad person is going to rid the world of all the evil. And like you so badly want her to be right, even though you know that's not the way it works. I think the huge star in this also was Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, was fantastic. He always felt like her equal, but never was threatened by her and her power in a time when like that was a thing. Everything about it was great. Seeing Themyscira come to life for the first time and realize so like fully and taken so seriously literally brought a tear to my eye upon watching the opening sequence of it. I could watch this movie over and over and over again. A lot of replayability to me. Quite frankly, like I can't understand why it took so long to get to Wonder Woman. Like we should have had this movie 10 years ago. Okay. T. Krella, you're number 4.
Number 4 is Spider-Man Homecoming. So it dropped to number 4 because of some of the other ones that, obviously went in front of this one. But this Spider-Man for me was the best portrayal of Spider-Man. Like I've said it before, Tom Holland is he plays a really, really good Peter Parker. He plays a really good Spider-Man. And to see this guy on this movie, you get so much more than when we first saw him in Civil War, obviously. But this movie was awesome because you don't just have you don't have any of the villains that they've had before. You get something different. You get the Vulture, and you also have Shockers in there for a little bit, and then at the end you also get a little taste of that Scorpion might possibly be in the next movie. So, which I don't know, from the trailers now, it's probably not going to be in this movie. It'll probably be in another movie, but who knows? Who knows where they're going to go with it? But the villains in this one were really well. Michael Keaton as a villain was awesome. I mean, there's the scene where the car, and when they're in the car and he's talking to Peter, and it's just that it's awesome. It's like because you have that dad. He wants to have the dad talk with Peter, but it's a little bit different than this is the dad talk that I'm going to have with him when he tells his daughter to go into the dance, and I'm going to talk to Peter. It was just that when you feel that, like let me back up. When he first goes to the house and he sees like the dad, like he's like, oh, like this is, holy crap, this is the Vulture. Like it just, that feeling that you get, like my stomach dropped, like holy, like this is just a turn of events, because you didn't even think that was his daughter. I mean, I didn't have any clue until like that moment. It was just an awesome moment in the movie for me. But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming was my number 4.
Awesome. No comment. So, number 3, Weapon 2.
That's better. That's right. Do what you're told.
Number 3 for me was Avengers, for all the same reasons that it was on your list before. I mean, it was just quite the accomplishment. It was the first real successful superhero group movie, and everything else that you said. So that's why it was on my list.
Sweet. My number 3 is Avengers Endgame. Again, a lot of jockeying for position for this, but I feel like Avengers Endgame is a fantastic movie. The fact that, the climax of a 22 movie series and to like follow up Infinity War was a monumental task that we probably never thought was ever going to be able to achieve it. I think none of us really thought it was going to be better than Infinity War. But it was awesome. And it gave like the most amazing comic book come to life moment of any movie when, spoilers, they're all coming back after they snapped back into existence. They're coming through the portals. That end battle was freaking amazing. It gave such an emotional send-off to Tony, a great way for Cap to essentially go off. I could talk about this for a long time, but I dare suspect it might be on your guys' list also. So I love this movie to death, and it's literally a masterpiece. I can't believe it exists. Like, the fact that it exists is a win. So, T'Krella, number 3.
Number 3 for me was Infinity War. Again, just playing off I love movies where you have multiple characters on screen. There are a lot of great standalone movies where you have the main character, and of course there's a villain. But Infinity War, to see, again, even more characters come to life on the movie screen, to just see their interactions with each other, and to see like just the different groups and how they gave everybody some time to shine, and you got to see them all in different areas and different parts of the story. And then the villain was just awesome. It's one of those villains where you're actually like worried what's going to happen to the heroes in this. And it's not a typical like the villain talks about his plan and then the heroes go in and stop his plan. No, this Thanos was just one that like this was his plan, and he's gonna carry it out, because of course in he's doing what he thinks is right, but the way he's doing it, nobody else, they all think it's, this shouldn't happen that way, whatever. So it's just when he gets his stones and he does everything that he does, it's just like, oh my, like it's cringe. There's a lot of cringeworthy moments, and for the ending to end the way that it did, just leave a theater so quiet with nobody saying much of anything, was unexpected and just awesome. So that number 3 for me was Infinity War.
All right, number 2, Weapon 2.
You have any comment for us?
No, no comment.
Okay, for number 2 for me, I'm going to talk about this for a little while because when we're talking about my feelings, this one got my feelings, and this is Logan. Okay, this is Logan. Wolverine's my favorite comic book character of all time, and with this movie for me, it was hard for me to watch this. I mean, the only other one that was kind of made me feel a little bit like this was Infinity War, where you have these characters. It shows their mutant abilities started failing them. It's not like these movies where they have all these great powers and they're full in control of them. Their mutant abilities, they're not working the way they used to. They're becoming out of control, especially for Xavier. And it shows this father-son type relationship between the two of them, where he's like taking care of them and he's treating him kind of like a son and with his ailing father. And then kind of the father-daughter relationship, like you said, between X-23 and Logan. It really humanizes them as characters in the superhero genre. And it's like something I had never seen before because of all those reasons. And of course, the death of these two characters that are kind of near and dear to my heart as characters. That's why it was such a powerful movie to me.
Another thing that's great about that movie is like the concept of having the most powerful psychic in the world have a degenerative brain disease.
Right.
Like, when you find that out, that's not like my brain never even thought of that. It's like, oh yeah, he's just gonna get old, and sometimes bad things happen when you get old. Like that was insane. Like that.
And then he can just almost destroy a city with that when he loses control.
It's so sad. It's so tragic. Yeah. Like that movie. That's why that movie's hard to watch over and over again. It's just ugh. Okay. Number 2 for me is Avengers: Infinity War. A lot of the same reasons that T. Crawler was talking about. The thing that really made this movie, though, is that Thanos is the protagonist. This is his movie. It's about him. And as T. Crawler said, what he believes he's doing is right. But the thing that really makes it great is it's also Thor's movie. This movie has a lot of character development for Thor. The scene where he's talking to Rocket about how, he's lost everything. That's really emotional. And like when he hits Thanos with Stormbreaker there at the end, I 100% thought this is how the movie was going to end. I thought he was going to kill him. I thought this was I thought maybe Thanos would get all the stones and then they would stop him. And how that happened, I was like, this is great. Makes total sense. He's had the best arc throughout this movie. Talking about Thor, I was like, it makes total sense. And then he snaps his fingers. And I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen. The fact, and obviously we knew Endgame was coming out in a year, and we knew they were probably going to undo it. But the fact that the movie ended the way it did, and for a myriad of other reasons, it was a masterpiece of a movie. And I think it's a little bit tighter narratively than Endgame. Endgame has a lot more to do, and it's Endgame is burdened by having to be the movie that wraps it up. The second act of anything, the sequel always has an easier job because it doesn't have to begin and it doesn't have to wrap things up. It could just be a story. And so Infinity War has that benefit. Utterly rewatchable also. T. Crawler, number 2.
Number two for me is Endgame. And for me, Endgame is there's a lot of fanfare in there, and it should be. The Russos gave the fans that have taken their time to watch the movies, and stay involved and continue to give their time to watch all these movies and to wrap this story arc up. And man, it was just there's a lot of things in this movie that are just awesome. I've only seen it once. These two guys, they've saw it a couple times already, but for the one time that I saw it, it was a lot of moments where you're laughing, a lot of emotional, tear jerker moments. And just to see all the things that they were able to put into a 3-hour movie was just awesome. And again, it's one of those things that you didn't think that you're going to see this on the screen and come to life. And the epic, spoilers, the epic, the battle at the end. And we talked about this in our review when you see both sides running towards each other and it didn't stop there, it continued, and you see a battle and you see all the things that are coming, going into this whole battle and there. It was just that for me it was number 2 because of all that stuff that was put in there, and I can go. There's a lot of things in there that I loved about the movie, and but number 2, Endgame for me.
It definitely rewards you for being a long-term fan.
Yeah, definitely.
The throwbacks are insane. Like, you could get a lot out of that movie going in cold.
Yeah.
But if you've been a fan of the MCU for its entirety, you get so much more out of that movie.
Exactly.
Same thing with Infinity War, but I think it's more so with Endgame.
Yeah, both those movies.
Yeah. All right.
Number 1 for me.
Number 1 all-time comic book movie for Weapon 2.
Avengers Endgame.
No
And
shit.
You guys have already said a lot of things about this, but for me, the thing that made it the number 1 for me was, of course, you have this huge story arc. It's the 22nd movie in 11 years, and it kind of ties everything up. Has big kind of epic, kind of bookends with Iron Man being the first movie to where he sacrifices to save everybody. But the thing for me was the battle at the end. I never in my lifetime ever could have imagined that I would ever see anything like that battle at the end. This huge battle that just with all these people, all these characters, that just goes on for as long as it does, and with all the things that happen in it, it was friggin' amazing. It was amazing.
So obviously the movie is not perfect. No movie is. There are some legitimate criticisms for it, but I truly believe that battle completely makes up for any criticism of this movie. I could hear any negativity toward it, but I'm like, dude, if you weren't just in total heaven during that last action set piece, like, that was pure unadulterated comic book joy. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was. And like you said, you can hear negative things about it, which, I've heard also. And okay, you have your opinions. I just think I think all of us just got more out of it because, like you said, watching all these movies and knowing the storylines and being able to pick up on all the things that a lot of other fans probably didn't pick up on. It was just satisfying to see all this stuff and being able to pick up on stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. Like, it's unbelievable that this and Infinity War exists, because I can't wait to watch both of them back to back. It really feels like a part 1 and a part 2. So that's gonna be fun. All right, my number 1 comic book movie, superhero movie of all times. No surprise to anybody who knows me, it is The Dark Knight. One of the things that I was taking into consideration when doing this list, because Batman Begins would also be very high for me, but I kind of view the trilogy as one thing. So I don't want to muddle it down by having essentially multiple versions of it on there. So I just take The Dark Knight as the best one, obviously, and I put that on there. The Dark Knight is a fantastic movie because, to me, it transcends the superhero genre. You could take this movie and show it to a non-comic book fan, and they can get something out of it. I believe if you remove Batman from this story, you still have a very intriguing movie about the mob and the cops trying to take down this freaking lunatic that they don't understand that the mob hired. Christopher Nolan's one of my favorite directors. This movie is shot brilliantly. Watching it in IMAX is an experience. Hans Zimmer's score is amazing. The best portrayal of Joker in anything, period. He is the best villain, I think, in any superhero movie, period. While not the most comic book accurate portrayal of Batman, the realistic, grounded version of Batman works immensely in these 3 movies, and in this movie specifically. Everybody in this movie is fantastic, from Gary Oldman to Michael Caine. Everyone plays their part beautifully. This movie is a masterpiece, and I think it's going to be very hard for anything, even a Batman-related property, to top this, in my opinion. All right, T. Crowley, number 1.
Now I have a question, because my number 1, I'm not sure if it qualifies, because my number 1 I put is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, because it's animated, is that?
No, that counts. That was going to be one of my honorable mentions. So,
okay.
Yeah,
that one for me is, man.
I have a question. You have that over Spider-Man: Homecoming?
I know.
I'm just gonna smirk quietly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear my smirk right now.
That's warranted. I mean, for me, Homecoming was it's better than Spider-Verse. I think we went back and forth with it.
Yeah, we argued quite a bit.
But honestly, because I've watched it so many times, because my 4-year-old has watched this movie, I think, over 15 times, and so I see it more and more, and I'm like,
we didn't ask what your 4-year-old's favorite movie was. We asked what yours was.
This is another reason why it's number 1. It's just it pulls my heartstrings, because my 4-year-old sat down and watched it with me, and then fell in love with the movie also.
Okay,
So,
that's a good enough reason for me.
But yeah, so it moved up, and I see it more and more, and I just see the character development, and then just having all the different spider, people come together, and for the animation in this particular movie, and it was just, I don't know, it was just nice to see it, and being able to see it on the movies, in a movie theater on a big screen like that was even better. But again, a lot of it is the movie was awesome, but it pulls at my heartstrings because my 4-year-old who loves it. I mean, right away she ran and got out of a hoodie, and she's like, she's Spider Gwen, and then it just over and over she watches it, and then my other kids, we all watch it. We end up in the living room all watching this movie over and over again. It's one of the few movies that she's picked to watch over and over again that we haven't got tired of. So that's my number one.
Nice.
Okay.
So out of curiosity, what was your 10 through 6? Just rattle them off.
My 10 through 6. I have.
Yeah, because you started at 7.
I still haven't. I don't have a number 10. I can't. There's.
So you just made a top 7 list, basically. Top 6.
Aquaman is 9, Man of Steel at 8, and I already did Spider-Man 2. So Aquaman was 9, and Man of Steel was 8.
Okay. So
We have a lot of the same movies, all of us. That's what I figured would happen.
So I just so everybody kind of what regular people on the internet thought, I compiled 7 internet lists. And so number 1 on the list was the movie that was on all 7 lists. I just basically went by how many times it was on each of the lists.
Essentially averaged them out.
Yeah. So Dark Knight was on all 7 lists. It was the only one that was on all 7 lists. So that's number 1.
Wow.
Number 2 would be Logan. It was on 5 of the lists. Also, Black Panther was on 5 of the lists, so that's also
That was on
there.
none of ours. Wow.
Yeah,
That was my number 10.
that was pretty.
You can't do that now.
No,
Shenanigans.
that was. I mean, as far as
That was a good movie.
It won an Oscar,
It was.
didn't it? So I mean, that's
Yeah.
something
I mean,
for.
for visuals, that's not a real Oscar.
Still, for a superhero movie,
Another
tell
compelling
me another
villain
one that's
also.
won an Oscar.
Yeah, Heath Ledger won a Oscar
No,
for
you're right.
Best actor. So
No, you're right.
best supporting
Okay.
actor. It's a better Oscar.
Sorry, no, I hear you.
Better Oscar.
I hear you. No, you're right.
Anyway.
So I put number 4 on here was Avengers. There's a few of them that were on the list 4 times, and Avengers was on 4 times. The Incredibles was on 4 times. It was on 4 of the lists.
I have never seen The Incredibles.
I'll tell you
Neither
what.
one.
For an,
I've never seen
I
any
mean,
Incredibles.
no.
I think when my kids were littler, it was kind of out, and I think I took them. But it was a pretty
pretty good.
movie.
I've
Pretty solid
heard-
animated movie.
I've heard people say it's the best Fantastic Four
It is.
movie.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
Best
I've
Fantastic
never
Four.
seen
I
it,
agree
though.
with you. I agree with
It
you.
is.
Spider-Man 2 was on 4 of the lists, so that's there. Avengers Infinity War was on 3 of the lists. Iron Man was on 3 of the lists. Wonder Woman was on 3 of the lists. Captain America Civil War was on 3 of the lists. So I just put them in just this order, but they were all on them the same. Now, also, this was surprising to me. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, for honorable mention here, was also the only remaining one that was on 3 of the lists. So,
Nice.
Wow.
All those are great movies.
Yeah, they are.
I can't speak for The Incredibles, but yeah,
Yep.
it's interesting to see what the internet's consensus was. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of looking forward to doing the worst list ever.
Yeah.
because there's some movies that I've kind of avoided that I'm gonna make myself watch.
So on our next
gonna make yourself
podcast, we're
watch
going to
them?
do,
Yeah.
Lonnie, pay attention right now.
Yeah.
We're going to do a top 10 worst superhero movies.
Okay.
Not the worst superheroes.
Yeah, movies. Okay?
Movie.
So it's kind of like what we did this time.
But the worst.
Well, I mean, what he and I did.
Yeah.
But then we're all going to do it, and it's for the worst ones. So,
So out of curiosity, Harvey, what's your favorite superhero movie?
Probably,
I think we
Logan.
just woke him up. No, what's Logan?
Logan? Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
Yeah, I remember when we watched that, you really loved that movie.
Also, I don't understand why Patrick Stewart didn't get an Oscar for best performance in that movie.
Because unfortunately, the Academy doesn't really recognize superhero movies for those kind of Oscars. Like, really, the only reason Heath Ledger won the Oscar for supporting actor is because he died. Usually, superhero movies are nominated for lesser Oscars, like costume design or visuals, that kind of stuff. They're not taken seriously by the Academy, which is a shame because
There's a real discrimination.
no, it
against
is
them.
because
Yeah.
like his portrayal, he should have been at least nominated for that Oscar. Like that was an
So
amazing.
You're saying we made a mistake by not killing Patrick Stewart right after that movie was made?
I mean, if we want him to get the Oscar bad enough, we should have. I mean, he deserves it.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So are we moving on?
I mean, I don't know how.
After we start,
segue for murder, that's gonna be.
about killing somebody so they can win an award.
It's because we
Okay.
care, Weapon 2.
No, I
we
hear
care.
you. I hear
I want him
that
to
you
get that
care about killing an old man so he can win an award.
Although, doesn't Patrick Stewart have an Oscar already?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I would be shocked if he doesn't have one.
Pretty sure.
All right, so are we moving on to this or that?
Yeah, let's do it.
I totally forgot about this.
Okay, here we go. This or that. One of our favorite segments that we've come up with for our last 2 podcasts. Here we go. This one is, would you rather be feared by all or loved by all? Captain Mal, would you rather be feared by all or loved by all?
What kind of love are we talking about? Like,
This
is
is
Scarlett Johansson in love with me, or does he like love me as a human being?
This is as the population loves you, kind of like they would love a ruler or a king. They have good feelings for you. They
Lame.
want nothing
Fear.
but the best.
Fear.
Fear. What about you, T. Crown?
I went with loved by all because fear brings revolt usually. You know, people.
Oh wait, yeah. Do I have the power to crush them
Yeah,
like
most
ants?
of the people, they fear you enough, they're gonna come again. They're gonna go against you.
Yeah, am I power?
Right, but I mean, if you look at history, there can be revolts, and revolts always turn out bad for the people, the ruling class. So
I'm gonna read the question again. I was not paying attention. I'm trying to see if he has an Oscar. Sorry,
would you rather be feared by all or loved by all?
but this isn't saying I'm a ruler. It's just saying in general, right? You never specified I'm king of anything.
Okay,
But
okay.
feared then.
Okay.
But by all would I mean, what do you
That
think?
just means the entire world. It doesn't mean that I'm
I'd say
ruling
I'd
anything.
rather be loved by all. That's me.
Eh.
All right. Would you rather be an average person in the present or a king 2,500 years ago? Captain Mel.
Average now, because you don't have Wi-Fi
You're an
2,500
average-
years
yeah,
ago. You don't have because like if I have the knowledge of shit now, that's gonna suck.
That's exactly-
there's no Wi-Fi. There's no like heat. There's no electricity.
Nobody's saying if you're. 20,
do we have running water?
Listen to me, bro. Listen to me.
2,500
Don't
years
read
ago.
into this. 2,500 years ago, as a king, you don't know what today's like.
Okay.
25 years ago, you're a king, or you're an average person now.
Okay, that changed.
Okay, so I have no knowledge of the future. It's not me going back in time.
Literally,
Right.
I wrote that as a question, like what you
Yeah.
were saying.
So if I have no knowledge of the modern creature comforts, I want to be a king. Sure,
Okay.
but yeah, you scared me with that one.
yeah,
What about you, T. Crawler?
I feel like he's on the same page.
with no knowledge. I'm with
And
him.
feel free to weigh in on this, Harvey.
Yeah, producer Harvey.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. For me, I would rather be an average person in the present because here's the first thing. The only
You
thing
say
good-
because of electricity, so fucking help me God.
Listen to me. No, it's a whole lot of that. And here's what they are. No, listen to me.
Come on.
Just listen to me, man. Listen. Okay? 25 years ago, the only
20
great thing, or 2,500 years ago, the only great thing to being a king is that you can tell people to cut people's heads off. You can
Awesome.
you can oppress the peasants. And
You don't gotta be a meanie king, dude.
and you
true.
can run around.
Loved
Well,
by
that's
all.
pretty much what it was like if you were a king
Loved
back
by
then.
all.
And you can run around and do anything you want. Basically,
That's the money right there.
here you go.
Wait, wasn't
Then
there
you'd
a
have
harem
like
back
servants. Yeah, you'd have servants. You could have like all kinds of things. But
Have
now,
sex with any woman I want.
now I have clean
course.
water. I have heat.
You don't know the
runs-
difference,
Come on.
though.
It runs out of taps. No, I'm telling you right now. I know what today's like. So right now, I would rather live today.
This motherfucker.
What?
You're totally. But you wouldn't if you were a king
Shenanigans.
back then. You wouldn't
Shenanigans.
know that. Hey, my water's kind of dirty. You'd be like, no, this is fucking
Right, but
water.
you. Here's the thing. You know what today's like. Would you? Are you supposed to pretend like you don't know what today's like in your choice?
That's what we just asked you.
No, I thought what you asked me was if
That's
back
not fair.
then you would know what it was like today.
Okay, so you're saying,
Just-
but because in knowing this, making this choice, you know what you know. You know how shitty it was back then. You're still gonna pick to be normal now, even though going back then you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know anything. You would just know what.
So
it was to
ignorance
live
would be
in.
bliss, but you don't care because it's still dirty water. So I'm gonna be normal now.
Well, according to you right now, I can't make a choice. I just have to say back then because I can't know that I have clean water and Wi-Fi and
to you.
television.
No,
and
I'm just
heat.
saying you're being confusing as fuck right now because like the reason I answered the way I answered is how
my
you answered my
gosh.
first question.
Listen to me. I think you have a lot of trouble following this list. Last month you had some trouble. Listen to me. We know while we're picking, we know what it would be like to live back there as a king, and we know what it would be like to live here now. That's why we're making the choice. We know what they both are, and that's how we're making a choice.
But you wouldn't have the knowledge. Like if you went back then, you
Dude,
would know.
we have it right now on this list. We're doing it right now. We're doing it live. We know what it's like to be a king 2,500 years ago.
No, you don't.
And we know what it's like to live right now. That's why we can make the choice.
Calm him down.
Sun's getting real low.
Oh my God.
Big fella, sun's getting real low.
Holy crap.
Sun's coming right down. It's okay.
We're moving on.
No one's gonna hurt you.
because,
Hey, wait a
because
minute. What's your answer,
I
though?
apparently
What's your answer?
I want to live now.
What's to live now?
The comforts of the modern era.
Why?
Lack of disease. All of the things that help make my life comfortable. You actually live better now than if you were a king back then. That's why.
You could have just said that, man.
Okay, I'm moving on. Oh my God, aneurysm. Okay, would you rather be a main character in the last movie you saw or a main character in the last book you read?
Oh shit. The
The last movie I saw was the end game.
Yeah,
I want to be a main character in the last movie I saw.
I gotta remember. What was the last
Do you
one
get to
I saw.
pick which character?
That's what that's my thing.
Yes,
I
you
can pick.
do.
Oh, okay.
Would you rather? No, listen to me. Just listen to the words that come
You
out
said
of my
a
mouth.
main character.
No, here we go.
Would you rather be a main character in the last book you read or a main character in the last movie you
But
saw?
what if the last movie you saw has 10 main characters? Do I get to pick which one I want to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Pick a character.
I'm picking book then.
Who in the last book you read? Tell me who it is.
Hurry up and tell me.
The last book I read was book 14 of the Dresden Files.
Dumb. Okay.
You're reading it too.
I am too, but there's much better characters.
I want to be
in
Harry
game.
Dresden.
You know who I want to be? Thor.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I want to be Thor. That's who I want to be.
What was the last movie you saw?
Okay,
Sea Crawler? What?
I went movie. Endgame was the last movie I saw. So
You guys haven't watched anything else besides Endgame? Like,
Not
movies.
since
I've
I watched-
I've
not
watched
movie.
like series episodes of.
I'm
TV
not like
series,
you.
not
I have
Well, no,
things
so
I gotta do.
I
You
know-
just
I
you
would-
just run movies all day long in your house.
motherfucker, I work a lot. I don't
Okay.
just sit around all day.
So how many more movies have you seen?
I have watched
since
other
It's like you
movies
just
since
run movies
Endgame.
Like
in your
what?
house
Like
all day
what?
long.
What was the last movie that I saw?
Yeah.
I don't remember, actually.
Dude, he's gonna rip your head off.
Would you rather be able to dodge anything no matter how fast it's moving or be able to ask 3 questions and have them answered accurately?
I'm afraid to ask questions about this.
So here's the thing: the ask questions you can ask 3 questions of anybody,
And they have to be answered
So
truthfully.
it's not just like a one-time thing; it have to be answered accurately, or you can dodge any projectile, anything coming at you, no matter how fast it is. Bullets, missiles, anything.
So any question
Yes.
to anyone.
Yes.
3 times.
He's just trying to, dude. He's trying to bait you.
Yes.
He's so good at this.
Ask
He
me another
gets you.
question. Ask
No,
me another
that was
question.
only 3. I can't ask anymore.
Would you like to ask anybody else in the room 3 questions?
Hey, Lonnie,
Yes.
what is your choice for this question?
It was. You know what? Honestly, it was dodge anything. I'm gonna go with ask questions.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
For real?
Yes.
That's 3. All right. I'm going to go with ask questions.
Because I'm not dodging bullets or missiles.
That's the thing. Like, we're not like superheroes. Like,
Right?
we live in our
We
world.
don't live in a war zone either, so it's
Yeah.
not like we have to dodge bullets or anything.
Like, if I was fighting things, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But-
Who are your 3 favorite people that you'd like to ask questions to?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That wasn't on the list.
No, hang on. I gotta think about this. What do you have? Well, what's your answer? You didn't answer.
I'm asking you the question. That's one question you haven't answered yet.
I'm
of
thinking
my
about
3
it.
questions.
Who would I? 3 questions. Shit, I don't know. T-Crawler, who would you?
One of the people I would ask.
No, listen here, dumb fuck. You're supposed to answer my question, okay? I asked you my 3 questions, so ask me. Answer my question.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm moving on. Would you?
What would you pick? You didn't. What did you? Are you gonna ask questions or dodge things? Did he say it right?
I'm gonna dodge things.
I think maybe we should change the dodge things because he's about to start throwing stuff.
No, I'm not throwing anything. I'm
No.
not throwing anything.
All right.
Would you rather your shirts always be 2 sizes too big or 1 size too small?
2 sizes
Two
too
sizes
big.
too big this season.
Yeah, mate, I'm fat.
You
I
know-
mean, I never want my shirts to be even the least bit. I don't even want to be the right size.
I don't like how much I have to suck it in now. Like,
You're not gonna
What
ask a
about
bunch of
you,
questions
Harvey?
with that?
What about you, Harvey? What?
I said he's not gonna ask you a bunch of questions with that one.
that one's
He
self-explanatory.
doesn't have any more questions. He doesn't have anything
I'm out.
interesting more
I've
to say.
used my 3.
Harvey, would you like sizes 2 shirts too big or 1 size too small?
Well, what color are the shirts?
Purple. The shirts are purple. Would you like them 2 sizes too big or 1 size too
Are they
small?
long sleeve
Is
or
that too
short
much
sleeve?
baiting or?
No, they're long sleeve. They're long
Is this like
sleeve.
a nice cotton polyester blend, or what
They're
are we
a
talking
mock.
about here?
They're a
How is
mock,
this
a
gonna
mock
feel?
turtleneck. A mock turtleneck.
A tactical turtleneck?
Purple.
A tactical
Long
turtleneck?
sleeve.
Tactical turtlenecks.
Black or slightly darker black?
Your
Archer
choice.
reference.
I didn't invent
choice.
the tactical turtleneck, Lana, but I was the first to realize its potential as a tactical garments.
Harvey.
Of course, too big.
Okay. Nice.
Is that it? I
Yeah.
don't think we could have handled anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so
No, this is
either.
good. It was just getting fun.
We didn't talk anything about an Endgame at all. I mean, I know we
mean-
did our review, but I mean,
Well, because we talked for a fucking hour. I mean, I feel like we covered everything.
okay.
Harvey, anything
Well,
about
I mean,
Endgame?
it
You
came
want-
up in the movie.
Yeah, I
thing,
mean,
guess.
since I'd like to hear what you have to say about Endgame.
I would say that for what they had to accomplish, it was damn near perfect. That was bringing 21 other movies together.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the
This is the
22nd
22nd.
Yeah, so that's pretty impressive. And how they hit, for me, with the exception of one moment that appeared like they were trying to make it funny, every other moment that they tried to make funny landed perfectly.
You're talking about Fat Thor.
Yeah,
Ha.
yeah. I mean, not even just that. There was other moments I can't.
Tread
I've only
lightly.
seen it once, and also the sad moments. they
One
hit perfect.
more time than you've watched the review for it. Hey, I have 3
Hey, I
questions.
actually did listen
Harvey,
to that.
I
entire
have 3
review.
questions for you. How come you don't watch our videos?
I did listen to that review.
Why aren't you on
Why
our
didn't you
Facebook
watch
page?
it? Why
Why
didn't you
don't-
watch it?
I'm not in any Facebook page, so
You're an admin of our page. How come you don't post?
you saw what happened last time I posted something on Facebook. It didn't go that well.
Not as an admin.
What did he post on Facebook? That didn't go well.
Post anything.
That's true.
You made a
We'll
comment.
talk later off camera.
All right, do we have anything else? Is that it? Are we going to plug? We had the contest?
Oh yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about the contest. The revamping. I guess.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We had posted a contest. We want to get we want to change it around a little bit. We want to actually give more stuff to people because we like people. We like all the people that follow us and support us. We also want to get some more involvement from people and kind of spread the wealth a little bit. So what we've decided we're going to do, number one, if you're already a subscriber of our YouTube page, I want you to post your name. If you've already subscribed and you haven't posted it before, I want you to post it. We've set some new marks here. We're going to give prizes at every 100 subscriber mark. So the earlier you get in, the more chances you have to win because the group is going to be the same group as it grows. It's going to be the same pool of people over and over again as people get added to it. So what we're going to do at every 100-person mark is we're going to put together kind of a little fun nerd box of cool stuff. We're going to include a pop. We're probably going to put in at least 5 comics of our choice, kind of cool things we think people would enjoy. We're going to gather together some additional things that we can find that we want to kind of throw out there for people to get. We're going to send our autographed picture in each one. I'm also going to do an original drawing Probably a small size drawing for everybody. It's going to be an original piece of art. If you tell me when we contact you what your favorite character is, that's what it'll be. I'll draw it. It'll be signed by me. And if you want to check out some of my artwork, you can check my stuff out basically on TeePublic. Look for Stolen Cheese, all one word. You can see my stuff that's there on sale, kind of see my artwork, and you can buy some if you want to.
So where do you want them to comment for their name?
I want them to just
In
comment.
the comments of this video.
Well, I want them to comment, yes, to this video.
On
I want
YouTube.
you to comment your name on YouTube for our podcast. Comment your name. And what I want you to do, this is what we really want everybody to do that comments their name. We also want you to share the giveaway information. So I want you to share the giveaway information, and I want you to share the podcast. So the giveaway information, that's so that anybody else that you share this to can get in on the giveaway themselves, because anybody that likes and subscribe, we want everybody to get involved, and we want to reward them as well. So we want them to have an opportunity just like anybody else to win some prizes. And we're going to do this at every 100-person mark till we get to 500. We're going to do a bigger giveaway at 500 like we had said before. We're going to continue at every 100-person mark till we get to 1,000. And I think at 1,000, we're going to put together a package that's going to consist of a $100 gift certificate and a bunch of other stuff we can put together. So
I think we're also going to throw a 25-minute massage coupon from T-Crawler in there. So
yeah, I mean, no, we're going to go a full 50 minutes. 50 minutes of
50
massage.
minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worth it right there.
Hot oil included. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
I wish I could subscribe more times.
Also, just to let you guys know that we are our podcast is on Spotify, it's on Google Play, Spreaker, and now it's on Apple Podcast. So
Yeah, we'll be posting that shortly on the page. So now we can check it out on Apple Podcasts if you have one of the iPhones. One thing we forgot to say, I don't think we said it, for the 500 giveaway, we're going to give you one of our T-shirts, one of our
Yep.
logo T-shirts.
Yep. Logo T-shirts are going to be given away at the 500 mark and at the 1,000 subscriber mark.
Yep.
So, yeah. So the main things are that I want people to, I'm going to rehash this. We're going to put it in writing, is I want people to share the contest, all the information that we're going to put out for that, and share our podcast. Yeah.
sounds good.
And little by little, the podcast is becoming available on more platforms.
Yes, it's awesome.
Shout out to who helped us out with that, Venom.
Yeah, Venom
Doing it
helped
on-
us get started on the Apple Podcast. So
now we are on.
shout out to Venom.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Play, Spotify. Is there one more? YouTube. Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube.
so 5. We're on 5. I like it.
It's awesome.
All right. Anything else?
No feelings were hurt in the recording of this podcast. We
I
still
like
love
how I
you.
pissed
That's it.
both of you off in this podcast. I don't know what that says about me.
I still love you though.
No, you don't mean it now.
I don't dance now. I make money moves. That's all I know.
All right. Well, thank you for
gotta dance.
thank you for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest podcast. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Peace.
Peace.